Whoa, that's the tone I'm looking for. I mean, to get a fretless sing like that, it's that's the kind of tone I really like, you know. And I think that's with the back of the switch. So now tell me something about this switch.
Sure.
Is that the back pickup switch?
Okay. So this switch, that pickup.
Oh, that's the pickup, right?
That's the pickup there. Yeah. Right now you've got it in. It's all that back pickup because you're all magnetic.
Yeah.
This makes piezo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's magnetic, and you've got your basically your treble is back off a bit. You know, so.
I mean, that is my sound on the fretless. You know, like played going the bubble. You know, I like that kind and the diamonds.
Well, you make it sound great, Bakithi.
Oh,
for sure. Yeah, another thing is, part of the design is to make every note speak. You know, some other basses have some notes that speak well and other notes that are kind of dead. Here the idea is to get every note to speak well.
Yeah, because some fretless to play this high and get this. I mean, you don't get that to other fretless.
You know, I have another instrument that I would like to show you. It's a brand new model that we're working on. I'd just like to get your reaction to it, if that's all right. And here it is, right here. Now,
I was just looking at that, like
so. You know, visually it's a little bit different. You know, with the sunburst finish and everything, but and it's black in the back, but it has very different electronics. Electronics that are much more conventional. This instrument has very unconventional electronics in that it has piezo and it's just a very, very wide tone palette. But this actually is
no piezo on this one?
But actually, before you do that, I wanted to show you something about this instrument that is really quite unique. So before we start playing it, I don't know, do you use I know you're playing the NXT upright, right?
Yes.
And are you playing the NXTa or just the regular NXT?
I play the NXT and then also play the Omni.
Okay. So this is a very interesting development. This instrument is active and passive, whichever you can select between active and passive. But it's active, but it has no battery. It's really something developed by a company called MySci. So instead of a battery, it has a capacitor, a supercapacitor. So we plug this in.
To charge it.
We plug this in for 60 seconds. That's it. 1 minute. And this instrument is going to be ready to go all night long. Basically, it's about a 16-hour charge that you get with a charge in 1 minute. So you never have to replace the batteries because there are no batteries. It's always ready to go. And it's always, you know, if you just give it that charge at the beginning, we're done now. It's been a minute, okay? So now you're ready to play the gig. So,
and what's that for?
That's to cover the hole that was there because this is a prototype. Okay, so essentially, it's just that, and the final version will not have that. Again, this is a very first prototype we've made of this type of instrument. So right now it's passive, and when you pull that out, it becomes active, and you can hear the difference. That's passive, and then keep playing, you know. That's active. But these controls are very much like a Fender jazz bass. 2 volume controls.
Yeah, like I can tell from this tone. Yeah, it's got that PJ bass.
Well, the controls are a lot more familiar, so a bass player who's, you know, used to playing the Fender can come in and deal with the electronics here much more seamlessly.
Wow.
There's no piezo.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so and then what is
this? This is the front pickup. So this would be a rear pickup only here.
Oh, that's
more your sound.
Yeah, this tone is good, like when I play the melody. Yeah, that's good for like solos, and then when I go deeper.
So here's if you want to get
like the slapping.
You use the front pickup with your slot.
Yes.
The neck pickup.
Yeah, because I want to get that percussive brightness on.
Nice.
I can't do that with other basses except this one. You know, even though the space is much a little bit smaller for me, but I can always get it. Wow.
So this is kind of between the CR series and the Wave series. It's a more mid-price model.
And it's so simple. It's like really dry, not too fancy sound, but it's solid sound, you know. Wow. Wow. No battery.
Well,
Just
what?
no battery? Nothing?
No battery. No, it's
Wow.
complete. And you can plug this directly into the PA, you can, into the soundboard. I mean, it'll handle any amplifier.
Wow.
Unlike, you know, a high impedance system where, you know, you might need a direct box or whatever. This is all, and you can switch.
Wow.
Here's passive, active, so you're covered on every which way.
That's active.
Yes.
Not that I play that, but just for trying out. Wow. Wow.
So anyway, we're pretty excited about this new model. And
I love it. I'm loving it.
It's you know, simplified over the CR series. It's no PA, so it's just much more straightforward. Conventional controls. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this space.
I love that. I mean, it sounds beautiful. Really simple, you know.
Yeah, that's
Very
a lot
simple.
of bass players.
My engineer would love
a lot of input I get lately is you know, forget the switches. You know, forget the buttons. I mean, let's just keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
That's what a lot of people. You know, everybody's different. You know what they're looking for. But I understand from Corey that you're interested in doing some work with a cello. Is that right?
The cello?
Are you interested in playing the cello?
Yeah, you know, there's one maybe there'll be more other songs that I will play the cello on the Paul stuff, because I was playing the big bass, trying to play the cello part, but not quite. It was too thick. You know, the sound of that was too thick. But so hopefully this coming up tour I can try the cello. Because I never really played the cello. Because I know the tonation is different than the regular.
Well, I mean, you could take a little practice, but with someone with your talent, it won't take you too long.
Yeah, so I wanted to try that for the next thing what I do with Paul, and then of course, you know, just to learn how to play the cello.
It's a fun instrument. Cello, you know, I had a cellist tell me that a cello is perfect because you put your fingers down on the fingerboard, and it's just where your fingers lie. That's, you know, it's very human scale. It's a very comfortable instrument to play.
Very comfortable.
Very great sound too. Yep.
Wow, man, this is amazing. And what is that? The neck fiberglass or just the wood?
The neck is
it's all wood.
Neck. It's a wood neck.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and it feels so good, you know. Yeah, I wanted to try the ones that I play already and see what the difference is with that.
This one here?
Yeah. Oh, power already.
See, now you're totally piezo right now. This is your balance, magnetic piezo. So that was all piezo.
Okay.
And this switch here controls the treble, the amount of treble you have with the piezo. So if you want a fatter piezo, so you can just feel that sound. Then here's full treble.
Yeah.
And then in the middle you get halfway.
I like that one, the one before. And then what about without the pin? Or like in...
If you want to get rid of it, that's all magnetic now. This is your switch, you know, that's the front pickups, both pickups, rear pickup.
And then this one.
That's treble and bass.
Yeah.
Or bass and treble, sorry, I got it backwards.
Yeah, this is really beautiful. I like the sound. And then, you know, of course, I use different strings. Now
What kind of strings are you using?
I was using the Dunlop strings, which is the super bright strings, but now I'm trying to go back to labella, because what I played on the Graceland was labella strings that, I didn't know until for a while they just told me that those strings that I played on the Graceland was labella. So now labella, they're making the U-bass, my ukulele bass strings.
Yes, okay.
Because it's been the rubber, but now they have the coated, so it can sound like, you know, like a regular strings, but they're not really like a regular.
Well, they don't only this long. I mean,
So they doing that now. So I'm trying to like play their strings, which is the really much better sound for me. They don't sound, because I don't like the strings that dominate than the instrument. I want to hear the instrument, and the strings can support what the instrument is giving.
Right.
It's like playing Phil Jones, because what we're hearing from this cabinet, it's exactly what the bass is giving. You know, it's not taking what the bass is giving.
It too much.
Yeah, because, you know, some amps you have to, like, you know, you hear more the cabinet than hearing the instrument. So that's what I like, the combination of this, because this is dry, it's organic. It just gives what the bass is giving. You know, it's no other thing.
Definitely.
So I'm like very, very impressed, and, you know, and just happy with this two product. You know, this is awesome.
Well,
So
it's obviously a great honor for us that you're choosing to play.
it's a great honor for me to play instrument that's made with care, and thank you for educating me. And so now, I mean, I know now once I play the instrument, I'm gonna have a different respect, you know, because then I've learned a lot about what you put together here.
The thing, you know, with this instrument, you know, the tone obviously is you know, the most important thing, but a lot of effort is going in to make it comfortable to play.
Yeah.
Again, dealing with the neck dive, you know, getting the instrument to balance properly. You know, as far as, you know, my way of looking at it,
It's pretty balanced.
This is an important part of the role of a musical instrument maker, is to make an instrument that is trouble-free, you know, which doesn't give you a shoulder pains, and which frees up the musician to be creative without having to be constrained by external factors, so you can just make the music freely. You know, and that's part of the whole kind of philosophy of this electronic system, which again has a really broad palette, because when you combine the piezo, I mean, this pickup, you know, people look at this instrument, they say, well, it's got a couple of pickups, but no, it's got 3 pickups, 2 magnetics and a piezo. The piezo is a completely different sound, much wider frequency response, and, you know, with a typical bass amp, it's not so easy to hear how much more bass piezo has, because the amps, they go down to, you know, 80, 60 cycles, and then they drop out. But if you have an amp that really faithfully follows the signal coming in, you realize what a tremendous amount of low frequency response you get from the piezo. So again, my idea is not to make an instrument for a musician or a particular kind of music, but to make an instrument that is versatile, that the musician can learn to dial up the sound for different kinds of music that they want to make, or to customize that sound for the kind of music they make regularly. But you know, the downside of that is that there is a process of learning that a musician has to go through to understand the controls and learn how to get the instrument to do what they want it to do. And this instrument can sound a lot like a traditional bass sound, or it can sound like a completely different animal. But you have to
just
know a
learn
little
how
bit
to
about
do
the controls and how to do it. So there's kind of a challenge in it. And again, that's why, you know, that's the instrument we were looking at just before, the NXTa RADIUS, doesn't have such a broad palette. It has more the conventional sounds that musicians, bass players are used to. So, you know, we're going to be able to cover both those needs by.
That's the one.
Yep, that's the one we were just playing.
I like that. I like that very much, because it's flat. It gives you exactly what the bass you want to hear. And, you know, if you want to add some other things, you know, you can still do that, but it's very simple and very direct.
Well, that's the idea. And, you know, everybody's got something different that they are looking for. So we're trying to take, again, the comfort package. That's the starting point here. So you've got an instrument that balances properly. I know that, you know, I tremendous respect for Leo Fender, and obviously Fender instruments are, you know, the original starting point for the bass guitar, but they're neck heavy, and musicians learn to deal with that. But I wanted to make an instrument that was going to be more comfortable to play, really balanced, and so combining that with all the different tones.
It's very balanced, man. Even the back, you know, that the way that it sits so comfortable that you can play all night without any problem.
Well, that's the
Especially a
idea.
guy like me who like eating, so that my belly doesn't take too much of what the bass,
Well, you're looking pretty good.
But Ned, I tell you, I'm just so honored to be part of
Well,
this
it's
family.
so great that you took the time to come up and visit us here in Maine, in Noblesboro, Maine. Which is
Thank you.
absolutely middle of nowhere.
We've been talking, Corey and I, that you always say, man, you got to come up and see us, because of my traveling and all of that. But I said, you know what, I will make time. Hopefully before this year is over, and now I'm here.
Well,
and I wanted to do this, and it's very important because I want to stay with this company, and I just right now I just found what I like, and this is it. This is it. This is the bass that I'm playing, and then hopefully I can introduce this to another generation. Just let other bass players know that there's some serious instrument there.
More than one way to skin a cat, right? That's the
Exactly.
idea. And so this is an alternate instrument that definitely provides a tone and comfort and so on that's unique and that a lot of players are enjoying.
And it's so
just one of
easy,
the
like you go to the studio, the engineer says to me, I don't have to do anything on the bass. It's got the sound that I need, and I said, thank you, because I don't want to struggle like trying to figure out everything. But now with this, it's got everything that I need. And I can't wait to play that new one because it's got something special, much different than this bass.
Sure.
The voice is different.
So Bakithi, having you here in Noblesboro, Maine is a big treat for us. But you've got quite a story about how you got here at this moment, but also how you grew up in South Africa and fell in love with music as a very young man.
Yes,
and how that has carried you to this fabulous career.
It's because of the bass.
Well, I don't think it's just the bass. I think it's because of you, my friend.
Well,
But maybe you could tell us a little bit more how you got here.
Yeah, first of all, I would start by saying that I was, born in Alexander Township, which is, it's like 40 minutes away from Johannesburg City. It's outside Johannesburg. But then I was raised in Soweto, the township, which is another part of outside of Johannesburg. And so I grew up in Soweto, and I grew up in a musical family that my mother was a singer. She sang in the church, and my uncle played saxophone. My cousin played drums, and my father was a musician as well, but we never met. But I just grew up.
You never met your dad?
No, I never met my dad. I think my dad left when I was about probably maybe 6 months. And so I grew up in front of my uncle, and my uncle was responsible to introduce me to the music because they used to practice at home. So I would watch my uncle weekend playing and his friend, and so I kind of got glued into his music, and I just loved everything that they were doing, and I said to myself as a kid, that's what I want to do. And then, but the problem that we had South Africa, it was so many problems that there was all kinds of stuff that was going on that really I tried not to pay attention because, I said to myself, I was born to play music. No matter what happened, I got to find the instrument. And it was really hard to find an instrument back then because, my family didn't have money to buy me instrument or anything, so I had to just watch my uncle, and then my uncle's bass player, when he goes home, he would leave his bass at home, and then I'll mess around, and sometimes I detune tune the knobs, and then he comes back the next day, gets mad,
But did he?
You don't play, you don't touch anything, you just look at the instrument until I teach you something, he said to me, But I just love it.
He did teach you? He was your
yes,
first teacher?
every time he comes home and I'll ask him, I said, what is this? What do you call it? He says, that's a bass string. And I said, what does it do? He says, first of all, you have to know the note. These things, they have notes. So this is G, D, A, E, B, you know, and he would teach me. And then the next day he will ask me, what is this string? And then I said D. He says, no, that's not D, that's G. and then he just kept teaching me, and so I got used to it. And then also the bass was like, whoa, man, this instrument is just unbelievable, the sound. I just liked the power because it just felt like earth. It was like, I mean, like you played like a low note and then I go crazy.
You know, it's even though I'm not a player, you know, the bass, the power of the bass always had an impact on me. So that's where I started out with basses. I made a lot of different instruments, but there is something in the power of a bass.
It was something really that dragged me, and then the fact that, you know, of course I was born to do this, and after a while my uncle's bass player couldn't play because sometimes he had too much drinking, and so he can't get up. And my uncle says to me, "Did you learn something?" And I said, "Yes, I know the songs. I can go and play." So
you play with your family?
Yes, right. Yes. My uncle had a big band, like, you know, 6 horns and drums and guitars and everything. And then, so I go play with my uncle, and he plays like 12-bar blues, something that. Yeah, and he says to me, it's 12-bar blues. I had no idea what is the blues, you know, but I just like the vibe. So I just learned that, and then I did the first gig with him, and people loved it, and I said, that's
So you're how old at this point?
I was maybe about 12, 13.
Wow,
12, 13 years old, and my uncle's bass was big too, you know, so I was sometimes having a problem playing like that, so I'll do this.
Really self-taught for the most part. Your uncle didn't do that much for you, I don't think, really.
Yeah, my thing was about listening, you know, and then spend time with him as much as I can, because he was always gigging like weekends. So I go with him, and I said, "Do you want to go with me?" You know, carrying my saxophone, and you know, because too he also used to drink a lot, so I have to watch his everything, you know, and make sure that he goes home safe and
make sure that all the instruments come back.
Yeah, because with the drinking, you know, he might lose his saxophone or something. So I just really got glued into that. And then, like in the township of South Africa, there was also bands practicing in garages, you know, so I will go and visit them. And one of the group had like 6 bass players, and these bass players, they had jobs. So me, I didn't have a job. So during the day, I go to the guy's house and practice basses, and then when the other guys come,
you still didn't have your own bass at that point?
No, never had my bass until I was like 20-something years old. From 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, I'm playing, you know, different basses, and some of them actually is like this high, you know. So when I play, it's really hard. That's why now today I have a good tone because of that. I used to play the bass with them.
So you learn how to play really basses that were not good.
Yeah.
So when you get a good one.
Yeah, when I get a good one, I get confused, because then I'm like, oh man, this is not right, you know, because I'm so used to it.
Why is it so easy to play, right?
Yeah.
There's something wrong here.
Yeah,
so
I started with those bass, played, you know, Gibson, Fender, you know, all this Music Man and all kinds of basses, until my mother bought me a fretless, because I needed my bass that I can practice at home. Finally, she took her last money, the rent money.
So she supported you?
Yes. Yeah, my mother, yes. But she did that now after I came back, because I ran away from home. I went to Zululand because I really wanted to play with, you know, with the bands. So I jumped in the bandwagon, and we ended up in Zululand. We got stuck for like, you know, 16 months.
16 months?
16 months. I couldn't ride.
You're how old at this point?
No, I was about 16, 17. And we got stuck in Zululand, and I couldn't write, and there was no telephone back then. And my family, they thought I was gone. They said, no, we'll never see him. He's dead, because, you know, I mean, 2 months you're not home.
Yeah,
they believe that you're gone.
Plus, it's very rough down there, right? I mean,
it was very rough.
Yes.
It was very rough. And then the fact that we were in Zululand, and then the first day we arrived in Zululand after driving for about 8-9 hours, and the car broke. So now we don't know anybody in Zululand, and now we got to find the mechanic, and then it's an easy thing for the mechanic locally because somebody can say, yes, I'll fix your car, to take a part from this car to put it to another car that is fixing. So we end up getting stranded. It was really bad, and then the band got stressed. Everybody started fighting, and we're starving. There's no food. There's no gigs. It was very stressful.
How many band members were there?
It was about 6 or 7. 6 or 7, yeah.
And you were the youngest?
I was the youngest, and then these guys, and then they started to go to the township, the local, and meet some girls, and then one guy says, that's it, I'm moving, and I'm going to stay with this lady. And, so everybody just moved to like different, yeah, because, they have to eat, so they got to meet people, and it got really bad. And for me, it was really hard because I had to eat like oranges and then sugar cane and bread. And man, whew, it was.
You were on the edge.
I mean, yeah. I mean, not eating wild food, just eating oranges every day, and clementine.
Sure.
I mean, like my stomach would be like turning at night, yes. And the instruments, the bass strings, they broken. So I had to patch the strings so I can practice, and then sometimes I forget and I do this and the strings would cut. Yeah. The bass that I played, it had blood, neck. Like the neck, there was a lot of blood there. And then also the drum skin, once they break, that's it. There's no music store to get the drum skins or sticks. So you just go to the branches and get branches, play the drums with it, and then goat skin and make a bass drum in order to get a gig. It just got really bad for 16 months.
16 months. Now,
16 months.
You didn't have any opportunity to get home, or you were still sticking it out on your own will? I mean, was it because you
No, there was no opportunity to come home.
To go home.
Maybe once in a while, like after 3 weeks, you see the car that says Johannesburg. And I said, man, this car came from my hometown. Maybe if I ask him, to get a ride. But at the same time, too, I was young and scared. Like, the guy might take a different turn and kill me or something,
There's that. But were you also still... The music was obviously extremely important to you. So maybe you still had hope that something good could happen from this?
Yes. But my thing was to meet the locals. People played the traditional instrument, the little accordion. It's like a concertina, the round one, and they'd be singing all the township songs. And then I hang out with them. They feed me, they give me the African beer, and then I drink and get drunk and then go back to the house. But I just spent time with the local people, and then I became very important to the local people to talk to them and ask them to teach me music. And I play bass a little bit, but I don't have the bass, so the bass is broken. But these people take care of me until one day I said, that's it, that's enough. I need to go home. I mean, like this is every day I can't live like this without eating properly food. And then my hair is like big, and then I'm like skinny and I have chicken pox. Yeah, I mean, I look terrible. So finally I got the right to go home. I think it was me and the drummer and another guitar player. So we asked the guy to give us the ride. He says, yeah, you can pay me when you get to Johannesburg. So call your people and make sure that they have the money. So he took us home, and man, when I got home, the first thing I just got out of the van and I ran home. I said, that's it. He's not getting paid from me because I don't have money, and my family don't have money. So when I got home, my mother didn't recognize me. She said, no, you're not my son. And I mean, really? I look so bad. And my mother, she says, no, you're not my son. My son is dead. And then, but some of the family members, they said, no, that's him. He just looked bad because he's been gone for so long. And I mean, my clothes ripped, and I just looked terrible, really, really, really bad. And when I got home, finally my mother, she said, that's it, you're done with music.
Done with music.
down with music, and I said, I'm gonna listen for a minute, but I don't think so, because I've spent so much time in Zululand. I think I gotta keep going with this. And you know what? Also, that helped me too, because I was born in the city in Johannesburg. But to go to Zululand and go to a place where people, they just grow their own food, and they're living just a simple life, and they're playing the music and sugar cane and all kinds of stuff. And I learned, I said, wow, this is important. And funny thing about my trip to Zululand, I had a dream one morning, one night. So I dreamed about this bass player playing the bass like this, with the hands, because I was playing like that, I was playing with my thumb, or sometimes use the pick. Mm-hmm. So one night I dreamed this bass player, no head, but I just see the hands. He was playing like this, and then I woke up the next day. I'm doing that.
So you dreamed.
And then everything became so easy, like playing like that. And I said, "Well, I can play fast, now." Even the bass, the action was hard.
It came to you in a dream. It came to you in a dream.
Came in a dream. And then, but what I realized now, after meeting my sister, I just met my sister about 4 years ago. She's older than me. She was born before me. And then my father took my sister to the town where I was stranded. And I had no idea that my sister was there. And I had no idea that was my father's hometown. But I just went there with the band, and then we got stranded. And then, now I get this dream. And then I tell my sister about this dream, and my sister said, that was your father. Because your father was a musician, and your father, he lived where you were stranded. But because of not having telephones or internet.
You didn't know.
So I didn't know. I didn't know. But man, that dream just changed my life. Then I came back home, maybe spent maybe 6 months, just keeping things calm down, because they want me to get a job. But after a while, and then I jump on another bus to Zimbabwe.
Really?
Zimbabwe, in 1982. I go to Zimbabwe.
You were very adventuresome as a young man.
Yeah, I had to do
risks.
Yes. I mean, I took a lot of risks and chances. Now I go to Zimbabwe. They speak a different languages. Mm-hmm. But because of music, and I said, I don't care what happens, as long as when I get to Zimbabwe, we'll see what happens. So I got to Zimbabwe, same thing. The band got really stranded. We got kicked out the first gig that we were to play in Zimbabwe, because one of the singers danced with the owner's wife at the club. Oops. The club that we were hired. So he's like dancing, the singer is singing the song Earth, Wind and Fire songs. The owner, the husband was not there, the owner. As soon as he came, he saw the guy dancing with his wife. He pulled the plug. And he said, get out before I shoot everybody or call the police. That's how we lost the gig. And that was the time before Zimbabwe. So the staff from the club, they said, no, you don't go back to Johannesburg. You keep going to Zimbabwe. Everything is 24 hours. There's nightclubs and everything. Then we jump on the van. We went there for another 8 hours. And man, when we got to Zimbabwe, it was like coming to America. Everything 24 hours, and just like amazing music all over the place. Some of the guys, they took their passport, they're like, nah, I'm not going back to South Africa. They read their passport, they stay there. And I said, wow, this is going to be interesting. Now.
So that must have been, a great opportunity for you to learn more about music and performing and so on.
When we got to Zimbabwe, because they play traditional music, but for us, we went to Zimbabwe playing like George Benson, or Prison and, Earth, Wind and Fire, just American music. So we got to Zimbabwe, and I hear these Zimbabwean bass players, and I said to myself, that's it. I'm going to hang out with these guys. I don't understand what they're talking about. The language is but the music, they will teach me, Shona, like this kind of groove. That kind of groove, and then I would learn that and spend time with them and then play with them sometimes. And those guys, they helped me until maybe 8 months later I was discovered by another producer who also was involved in the Graceland, said to me, listen, I'm going to put you on the plane. I want you to come back to Johannesburg. I want to record with you. I have so many sessions I want you to play. And it just took me away from Zimbabwe.
So that was your big break right there.
Yes, when I come home and I record with him a bunch of sessions, and he just took care of me. And
he introduced you to Paul Simon.
No, that's before Paul. So that was 1982. So then I'm home now working for this guy, you know, doing a lot of session, and then I'm traveling with some of his artist group.
And they're taking decent care of you at that point. I mean, you're past this. I mean, you're recording. You're getting
now I'm getting paid.
For it.
Yeah. Which is not much money, you know. Like for LP, 12 songs is like $5. You know, the LP, but $5 was a lot of money in South Africa back then. You know.
Okay.
So I take that, and then I go on tour with these people, perform, you know, around until 1985. So now my mother, she's getting sick, so things are not doing good now. So things started to slow down now. There's no session work.
Oh, really?
So then I find a job to work as a mechanic to make sure that, you know, my mom, she gets medicine and, you know, gets help that she needs. Well,
that was tough, huh?
It was very hard. It was hard, and then, you know, like, I'm losing my family. My uncle is getting sick, and people are passing, you know, and so I'm now terrified, you know. And at that time, South Africa was really difficult. Now that you can get arrested and never come back home, you know. You don't know what happened to people, or they send the people to different places. So then I'm working as a mechanic, and then after a while, this boss gets a call to say, Paul Simon is looking for you. Paul Simon is in town. And I'm like, who's Paul Simon? Because I don't know about Paul Simon. I grew up in the township. Who's Paul Simon?
Yeah. Right.
And the guy is singing the song. You know this song, that song, this song. I said, no. Me and Julio, no, you know. And then the mother and child reunion, this guy started to sing, because he's trying to sing all the songs so that maybe one song I might say, yes, I know this song, and mother and child. And he says, that guy, Paul Simon, that's the guy.
You did know that song?
Yes, because I thought it was a Jamaican Paul. I thought he was from Jamaica.
Oh, I see.
You know,
right.
Paul Simon singing the, you know.
Sure.
And so they, then I go to the studio and I meet Paul, and there was a bunch of people in the studio, and Paul says, yeah, man, I love your playing. You know, somebody sent me the tape of the song that you played on, and I'm like, you know, I want to work with you. Man, he just changed my life, and I just could not believe. And my boss gives me the money, says, take the bus, don't take the train. Take the bus, go to see Paul, and I'll see you the next day. Then I called him the next day. I said, sir, thank you for everything. I think this is it, man, you know. That's it. I'm down. This is my life now. I'm going to be playing the bass for the rest of my life. And this guy's like, I can't believe you're not coming back. And I said, no, I'm going to America, because already Paul told me that we're going to come to the U.S. and do some tracks. And then I knew that this is it. And Paul bought me a Fender bass because I had a fretless. He's like, yeah, I need another bass with the lines. so your sound is different. And he got me that, and it just changed my life. And of course, now about 6 months later, after working with Paul, and then I hear the track on the radio, call me out, and I said to myself, that's it. My life has changed. And I took chances.
Such a fantastic report.
And I really didn't care about money, how much money I was supposed to get on it. I just needed a break to go, and especially to come to America, because as a kid listening to American music, I said I wanna go there. I want to go there.
Well, you not only came here, you advanced the art enormously. I mean, you really made such a contribution, Bakithi. I know you know that, but that's such an accomplishment.
But it was the teamwork and the trust, because working for Paul, he trusted me. And when he trusted me, he gave me a boost to say, you can do this, because he trusted me. And I was, I was ready to learn. And then, of course, having a great engineer with a great ear, everything I played, he just made it like, this is it. I mean, he helped me a lot.
Well, I mean, you started out, you were playing instruments where you had the strings, put together, and you bloody your hands playing. So all of a sudden, you got yourself a nice Fender bass and a great recording studio, talented people supporting you, and then so all that adversity that you had gone through in younger years, I think that made you stronger, right? Made you more able to appreciate the opportunity you had and to make the most of it.
Yeah.
And you sure did.
Well, the thing too, it's about wanting something and not have a fear. One thing I don't have a fear. Even getting on the plane, I was like, you know what? This is scary, but I'm gonna take chances. I don't speak very well English, but I'm gonna go to America. I'm sure they're gonna understand. I don't have to say anything. I just play. But and Paul just gave me an opportunity to say, look, you deserve a break. You deserve the world to hear you, and he did that. He took me all over the world, and I played for thousands of people, thousands
of people.
I mean, the countries, the world, the places we've been, it's just unbelievable. And I'm still playing for this man, and 31 years later,
And I don't know Paul or what, what he's like as an individual, but he chose you. I'm sure he took some pleasure in helping you, but he chose you because he saw in you something very special that he wanted. So,
and the fact that he went to South Africa,
Yeah.
it is a fair deal. The fact that he went to South Africa, he took chances. He knew one guy who was an engineer, producer, but he said, I'm going to go to South Africa. And he went to the township where, people live just a simple life. Paul was there. So, he knows me. He's almost like my father, because he knew, he's like, this talent deserves a break.
So you were 20 years old at that point?
Yeah.
And he was 40 years old, something like that?
No, when I met Paul, he was about 20, I was 25 now. Because I played on the Graceland 1985, which was about 25. Paul was 45.
Right, so, yeah.
So, and then since then, I remember when he said, we're going to have to go and finish up the tracks in the States. And in the back of my mind, and I'm thinking, in the States, in New York, and Anthony Jackson comes to my mind, and Marcus Miller, all these great bass players, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is scary,
Yeah, but he didn't want those guys. He wanted you.
But I mean, like for me, because I was thinking like, oh man, I can't play bass. If I'm in the studio recording and then Anthony Jackson walking into the studio, I'll be terrified. But then, like, Paul is like, you got something that nobody has. Your playing is different. How you hear things, it's just amazing. And Paul just gave me an opportunity and the freedom. Usually, when you play pop songs, bass, very likely you get an opportunity to do something, unless, like James Jamerson, he played all these great bass lines and he sold a lot of music because of that. But Paul just gave me opportunity. It was like, look, your bass playing is amazing. I can't change this.
So 31 years, but now from what you told me earlier, Paul is going to be cutting back on his touring and so on. And so what is your, where do you go from here, in terms of your music and your career? I'm sure you.
Well, there's many ways to, I have my own music that I want to put it out there. And I want to also work with the young generation, young bass players. I want people to hear my story. I just want to tell my story, through this music, through this instrument. And of course, thank you, somebody like you, to make such a great fantastic instrument that I'm going to be telling the story, playing this instrument, because it's unbelievable.
Well, it's a fantastic story, and it's great that you're motivated to share that with young people, and it's just great for me to feel that, you know, as an instrument maker, I feel that I'm, you know, very much, you know, I make tools for musicians. And the musicians make the music. I don't make the music, but still, I get to be part of it too. So thank you for including me and the instruments that we make.
You know,
It's
it works
a
both
lot of
ways. You know, it's not just the player, but it's the builder. You know, because you build stuff that we played in front of thousands of people, and when it's good, you're gonna see them dancing. And these basses, they make people dance. You know, they make my job easy to play. You know, I don't struggle to try to find the sound. It's great. So I'll be doing my own thing, and then hopefully eventually we can bring these basses to where I started, so that my people, they know when I come back home, I come back with the Bakithi bass. And
Well,
this is it.
It's a fantastic story. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
to this
Thank
little
you.
town of Nobleboro, Maine, and
Maine is a great town.
Great
I want to
town,
come
yeah.
back here, and I want to bring my family, my daughters.
Next
They're
time.
going to love it.
bring them all.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you take care.
Thank you.